Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsolved Horrors. Today I have Joe accompany me on this episode of the podcast. How you doing, Joe?
Well, I'm doing just fine, I think. We'll figure it out later this weekend with some things that are going on. The government's a wild time right now.
Oh, because with you being
Yeah,
military, you could
it's going
be
to be a great time.
yeah, I'm about to say they can
Yeah,
just call you in at any minute and be like, "Yo,
yeah.
shit's getting real."
I don't know. Just give me a ribbon and I'll be fine.
I mean, that's fair, man. I don't know how the military stuff works, but I assume
At this
ribbons are good.
point, I don't either.
Uh, so are you gonna be a mainstay at this point? Are you coming back for like another episode, or is this just like a one-off, like just occasional thing?
Um, I'll be here as often as I can, but I make no promises.
That's fair. I've already prepared the next episode to be by myself, so I didn't know if you're coming back or not.
It's the possibilities, like, there, but I'm not going to say I am, but I won't say that I won't.
I was about to say I'll prepare my other thing I have set up just in case, you know. But we'll go ahead and do as much as we can with you here. I think the next episode is by myself, and then I'm doing an interview probably after that one.
Oh, okay.
But today, technically, you are the first interview on this new series of the podcast. So what are we talking about today?
Well, today I picked out to, since we're doing like unsolved mysteries and all that jazz, decided to do Adam's first wife, Lilith. Because Lilith has a lot of different perspectives on her depending on what religion you look at. If you go with old druids, it's actually drastically different from like Christians and monotheistic religions.
Right.
So like in Christianity and monotheistic religions, Lilith is mainly like demonic kind of succubus individual. She would be individual who mothered like beasts such as werewolves and vampires and things such as that nature. Similar to like the individuals who carry the mark of Cain, it'd be the same kind of situation with it. But in some other faiths, like some not a lot. Like I was doing some more research on it because I know a little bit, but not a whole hell of a lot. But I didn't find any of it on like what like druids and everything would think of it. But then again, the druids wouldn't really think too much of Lilith, I feel, due to the fact of their main belief system stems from the earth itself. And not like because Lilith would technically be a creation of God all the same. So, what I got is a demonic figure that goes back to the earliest classes of female demons found in cuneiform texts of Sumer, Assyria, and Babylon, first known as Biblical Hebrew through her mentioning in Isaiah 34:14, and Jewish mythologies sourcing from 500 CE onwards, where she appears in magical stories in various concepts. Local places partially reflect descriptions of her in Babylonian. That's not a fucking word. Anyway,
It's not a word. What
I
word?
I don't Babylonian Talmud scripture in the it's a book. Oh, well, there you go. So
Did you write these things down, or did you like copy
Nope.
and paste them from a Google search?
Google search, but
You came hella unprepared.
yeah, well, man, fucking I don't know how to word things out of things, man.
Fair enough.
I'm
Continue.
just here. Anywho's it. But the point being is she's Adam's first wife. Alright, and the major difference between Adam's first wife, Lilith, and Eve was Lilith was not made from Adam as Eve was. There wasn't like a rib taken out or anything else like that. Lilith was made with Adam. So Adam was made from dirt, and as was Lilith. And from this, she had a lot of her own thought process about it, because the whole thing with Eve being made from Adam was she was made for him, so she was made to help him, be with him, and all that, so on and so forth. And that's where a lot of Christianity and monotheistic religions, like subjugation of females, come from. Is like females are there for the man, and that's where Eve came in. Lilith was not that. Lilith was like, look, we're here, we work together, and we're doing this whole thing where I'm just going to fucking leave. And so Adam wasn't really fucking with it, or something similar to that. They didn't really go into that any of the research that I did. There was none of that saying it, but this is just the shit that I learned through the years. From other sources, this is just fucking Wikipedia. But
Right.
So at some point in time, Lilith wasn't really jazzing with the whole freaking do as God says, no question asked. She was very a curious individual. She was like, why? Why is that? Why, questioning him constantly, the free will thing. And she, at one point in time, she's like, nah, fuck this, and just left. And that's when she became demonized. She was like, oh, she was a bad, basically just a bad egg. You know what I mean? It was a bad attempt. We're just going to mark it off as something that was a failure, as it were, and we're going to try again. And the try again was Eve. And most of the things that we got here that from Lilith are just basically saying that she was, one of her states are a succubus. She freaking found to be, most depictions of her were a beautiful woman that she used her beauty to capsulate men, to basically kind of do what she wanted them to do. Let's see. Lilith appears as Adam, who was created at the same time and from the same clay as Adam, as I was saying. And then, in contrast to Eve, who was created from one of Adam's ribs, the legend of Lilith developed extensively during the Middle Ages in the tradition of Agatha, Zohar, and Jewish mysticism. For example, in the 13th century writings of Isaac ben Jacob HaKohen, Lilith left Adam after she refused to become subservient to him, and then would not return to the garden even after she coupled with the archangel Samuel. Okay. So she freaking went with Samuel.
Okay, so I know legitimately fucking nothing about religion. Well, I know a few things here and there, but I tend to not talk about it because religion is just a whole topic. But what role does Lilith play in your religion? Because I know that you believe in paganism, I guess would be the correct term to put that in. You're pagan.
Yeah. So how we would see Lilith is basically is just a powerful woman. It wouldn't be. We don't see her as any variety of a demonic individual. As I read just a moment ago, she refused to be subservient of Adam, so she left. All right, and Christianity, they demonized her and made her this whole thing. And how I believe in the pagans, we wouldn't see that as such. Any variety of pagans, especially Nordic pagans and druids and such, we see women as equals, if not even higher than. Vikings and Nords, the Norsemen, they had shield maids. They had women that were side by side. They had jarls that were women. So she would have been the first of any variety of a witch kind of thing.
Yeah.
She was just a strong-willed woman who decided to be out on her own. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing bad, nothing overly good, but definitely nothing bad about the woman.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much our viewpoint of her. There was nothing too terrible or anything. If nothing else, we would actually look towards her, women that would follow paganism would look up to her as a freaking that strong, independent woman kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's basically what that is. Because that's pretty much what she was. It was the world's first strong, independent woman. It's pretty much what Lilith was.
I was about to say, basically, she's just kind of the first female version of an anarchist.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what it comes down to in my head. She's just the first female anarchist.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. And it wasn't she didn't believe or she didn't go against God or anything. The only aspect of going against God is she just wasn't subservient to Adam, which she was told to do, and she's like, no, I'm not fucking with that, fam. So
okay. So with that, because I know you know more about religion than I do. Do you know how Christians view Lilith?
Oh, dude. every Christian I've ever talked to about Lilith, they like shudder. They're like, "Oh, that's a dark demonic woman," and stuff like that. Like they are so demonize her so darkly. Like in the TV show Sabrina, the New Adventures on Netflix, she's actually depicted as Satan's wife. It's ridiculous. Like I got a call one time because as I said, I believe Lilith is the strong, independent woman, is nothing bad or anything else like that. I was discussing with my ex-girlfriend at the time when she was pregnant that if we had a daughter, I would name her Lily, short for Lilith. Well, my ex is a very Christian woman, and she started watching Sabrina and stuff like that, called me, and she's like, "You were wanting to name our daughter Lilith, right?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "Really? Satan's wife?" I'm like, "Beg pardon? Satan never had a wife. I'm very confused on where you're coming from here." And she's like, went off on me about it because of this TV show, and I'm like, please, God, don't take your info on my religion off of a television show. Please.
See, that's like, okay, because like I said, I don't know a lot about like religion, and I don't know a lot about the background of Lilith because I grew up in a household that really, like, they had a lot of Christian morals, but like we didn't go to church and stuff like that. So like I don't know a lot about like the background of the Bible and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I know.
Yeah, my background is like a mixture of the two because my grandparents are painfully Christian, and they raised their children to be like my father. My father read the Bible a good like fucking I don't know how many times. He is so not Christian.
I mean, I can understand where he's coming from with that, just based off of my experiences in the household I grew up in.
Yeah.
But so my thing with like the whole, whenever you mentioned Lilith, I literally didn't know what that was because the only Lilith I knew was from like a video game because like I never looked into this stuff or anything like that.
Right.
Do you know if if this reaches any other religions or if it's just like a Christianity, Catholic?
I think it's
thing?
just like this says here, it's freaking monotheistic religions. So it like goes into Jewish mysticism. It's Christian, and I think it may have something with Sumerians. Let's see. Interpretations of Lilith found in later Jewish materials are plentiful, but little information is available relating to the Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian view of this class of demons. Okay, so there was actually a lot of different views, but it wasn't like religious ones. It was cultures, like Sumeria, Akkadian, Assyria, and Babylon. Agree that connection exists. Recent scholars disputed the relevance of two sources previously used to connect the Jewish Lilith to the Akkadian Lilitu, with the Gilgamesh appendix and Arslan Tash amulets. Below for discussion of those problematic sources, other scholars such as Lowell K. Handy agree that Lilith derives from Mesopotamian demons, but argue against finding evidence of the Hebrew Lilith in many of the epigraphical and artifactual sources frequently cited as such. So, basically, in these other religions, they would suggest Lilith would be something like, what was his name? Pazuzu. From, like, what was it? The Exorcist. Because Pazuzu was a Sumerian demon.
Okay.
So they would categorize Lilith as such.
Okay, so once again, me not being very cultured, you said Pazuzu, as in the thing from The Exorcist, and my one-track mind that's on a hamster wheel thought of the gargoyle from Futurama. I don't know if you remember that episode.
No, I love that guy.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing I thought of, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute, because like I'm paying attention and I'm listening to you, but I was like, wait a minute, when did we make this detour? I thought we were talking about something completely different. Other than that, do you have any more like information on Lilith, or do you have any like?
Here's some things. It's like, first occurs in a list. Okay. So in Hebrew language text, the term Lilith or Lilith, translated as night creatures, night monster, night hag, or screech owl. First occurs in a list of animals in Isaiah 34:14, either in singular or plural form according to variations in the earliest manuscripts. The Isaiah 34:14 Lilith reference does not appear in most common Bible translations, such as the King James Version and the NIV. I don't know which one that is. Commentators and interpreters often envision the figure of Lilith as a dangerous demon of the night who is sexually wanton, which is so basically a succubus. Yeah. And who steals babies in the darkness. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, they fucking demonize this woman heavily. It's insane. Especially, and the reason being is she told her husband no. That's all happened. That's the only thing that happened.
It's kind of wild to think about, honestly.
No, she just left her husband. That's the only thing that happened, and all this shit stemmed from that. It's fucking insane.
That's wild as fuck. I'm gonna be honest, because I didn't know anything about Lilith, but it's sad that this woman just got demonized because she just said no.
Yeah, she was like, "Nah, fam, I'm not vibing with it," and just left her husband. So everybody was like, "Ugh." I was like, "Wait, I'm confused."
Die, cast away, you foul beast.
Yeah, no, it's like this. It's like freaking Lilith just got out of a toxic relationship. Now everybody's fucking bagging on her, and I'm like, "But why?"
That is wild. That's why, like, I don't follow religions and stuff like that heavily, because, like, I don't know, man. Religion just... It's a heavy topic, for one, but part two is, like, it's one of those things that's been passed down for so long that, like, everyone has their own different fucking, like, viewpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like no one really has the correct answer when you boil it down to it. It's all just people spitballing and throwing darts at a fucking board and being like, well, that sounds right to me, so that should sound right to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is a long-ass thing. Okay, so... Oh, man. Okay, hold up here. So, in Latin, Vulgate Book of Isaiah 34:14 again, Lilith is translated Lamia. According to Augustine Calumet, Lilith has connections with early views on vampires and sorcery.
Beg pardon?
Yes. It gets better. There's a whole transcript here. Some learned men have thought they discovered some vestiges of vampirism in the remotest antiquity, but all that they say of it does not come near what is related of the vampires, the Lamé or the Stragae, the sorcerers whom they accuse of sucking the blood of living people, and of thus causing their death, the magicians who were said to cause the death of newborn children by charms and malignant spells, are nothing less than what we understand by the name vampires. Even were it to be owned and these Lamé and Stragae have really existed, which we do not believe can ever be well proved, I own that these terms, Lamé and Stragae, are found in versions of Holy Scripture. For instance, Isaiah, describing the condition in which Babylon was to be reduced after her ruin, says she shall become the abode of satyrs, Lamé and Stragae, in Hebrew, Lilith. This last term, according to the Hebrew, signifies the same thing as the Greeks expressed by Strix and Lamé, which are sorceresses or magicians who seek to put to death newborn children. Hence it comes that the Jews are accustomed to write in the four corners of the chamber of a woman just delivered, Adam, Eve, begone from hence Lilith. The ancient Greeks knew these dangerous sorceresses by the name of Lamé, and they believed that they devoured children or sucked away their blood till they died.
So, God, okay, so she's made from the clay.
Yep.
From the same clay as Adam, and then Adam's like, yo, bitch, do these things, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. Leaves heaven, and she becomes like a demonized creature.
A succubus, a vampire, fucking everything, dude.
I was about to say, she goes from this woman who was like made to be kind of the same as Adam, and it's like, oh, blah, blah, and then she leaves and they're like, oh, demon, vampire, Death Eater. It's like, what?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous because it's wild. Because even if you look at the people nowadays, you see these things. Like, look at regular, like, dysfunctional relationships in, like, people today. Like, you'll see a couple, all right, and you'll see a dude just beat and abuse his wife. Now, I'm not saying Adam beat Lilith or anything, but you, like, see him abuse his wife or whatever, and she'll leave, and then he'll play the victim. and say that she did all these things, spread rumors, lies, all this shit. Or like another common one is something like, dude tries to get laid. Girl's like, nah fam, I'm not with it. And so he goes and tells everybody that they did anyway. And she's like, the fuck? You know, it's the same thing.
That's just a lot. Like, I don't know. That's a lot to, like, take on.
Dude. Oh, man. And it says here, according to Sigmund Hurwitz, the Talmudic Lilith is connected with the Greek Lamia, who, according to Hurwitz, likewise governed a class of child-stealing Lamia demons. Lamia bore the title Child Killer and was feared for her malevolence. Like Lilith, she was different, conflicting origins, and is described as having a human upper body from the waist up and a serpentine body from the waist down. One source states simply that she is a daughter of the goddess Hecate? I don't know. Another that Lamia was subsequently cursed by the goddess Hera to have stillborn children because of her association with Zeus. Alternatively, Hera slew all of Lamia's children except Scylla, in anger that Lamia slept with her husband Zeus. Well, everybody slept with Zeus. The grief caused Lamia to turn into a monster that took revenge on mothers by stealing their children and devouring them. Lamia had a vicious sexual appetite that matched her cannibalistic appetite for children. She was notorious for being a vampiric spirit and loved sucking men's blood. Her gift was the mark of Sibyl, a gift of second sight. Zeus is said to have given her the gift of sight. However, she was cursed to never be able to shut her eyes so that she would forever obsess over her dead children. Taking pity on Lamia, Zeus gave her the ability to remove and replace her eyes from their sockets.
Wow. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Alright, well...
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man, what a great note to end on. That whole thing was just a fucking roller coaster. It started out relatively calm and then just escalated into pretty much madness, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
It took a hard left turn, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
But you said that's all you got?
That's all I got, man.
Alright, anything you want to say before we do the little outro?
The only thing that I would have to say is don't take every interpretation from one angle. Look at it in every aspect before you make judgment on something or someone.
Man, that was way more powerful than I had expected, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes.
But alright. Well, Joe, thank you for coming on the podcast. I don't know how many times you're going to be part of the podcast, but, thank you for coming on for the first episode of the new season, of the new series, technically.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, man, hopefully. I mean, it's different, so...
Well, different is sometimes good, man.
Yeah.
Unless you're like white chocolate. White chocolate's a goddamn abomination.
That's just a fact. But, alright. Well... I don't know if I'll see you next time. I don't know if you're going to be on here next time with me or not, but
maybe.
Whatever episode you come back on, I'll see you then.
All right. See you then, man.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.